Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 24 based on novel. So let's start. In the end, Lindong did not leave in the opposite direction of Mu Lingshan. However, he did not take the same route as her either. He simply continued to follow the route indicated on the sea map and hurried towards the Sky Merchant region. He did not take special care to avoid or meet anything. Hence, after flying for around 2 hours over the large ocean, the expression on his face became quite helpless after sensing the wild and violent energy fluctuations in the distance towards his left. Those energy fluctuation was filled with a somewhat evil aura. Clearly, the ones who had attacked were the Blood Demon Shark unit which he had met yesterday. A somewhat familiar aura was also mixed amongst them. This was the main reason for his expression. Lindong stood in the air. He gazed into the distance with a complicated expression. The waves seemed to have become rather violent in that area, and loud noises would occasionally be heard. It was likely that an intense battle had erupted. Do you wish to take a look? I am quite interested in that little miss. Yang's voice sounded within Lindong's heart. The latter was aware that this interest stemmed from Yang being unable to clearly identify Mu Lingshan's strange constitution. You have also said that this little girl is not simple. Although those Blood Demon Shark clan people are very troublesome to deal with, she should still be able to escape. Lindong mused for a moment. After which, he shook his head. The Blood Demon Shark clan was not to be trifled with. If he was to offend them, things would likely be even more troublesome than offending the nefarious Bone Old Man. Lindong did not wish to get involved in such trouble. After all, he had merely met that Mu Lingshan once. Rumble. A wild and violent energy fluctuation rippled outwards in the distance after Lindong's words had sounded. 1,000 feet tall wave rose towards the sky, and emitted a loud noise as it came crashing down. Lindong looked towards that direction. He curled his mouth as a helpless expression ultimately flashed across his eyes. Let's go and take a look. I will lend her a hand if there is really a need to. Lindong did not know why he had ultimately decided to help. Perhaps it was because he did not wish to see such a cute little girl dying at the hands of the Blood Demon Shark clan. It was also possible that there was a subtle connection that even he could not describe between them. Such a connection might be extremely ridiculous, but Lindong was indeed able to sense it. It seemed to truly exist. Moreover, the source of that feeling seemed to originate from within his body, the devouring ancestral symbol. Lindong's gaze flickered. This feeling was extremely fuzzy, and even he did not dare to truly be certain of whether it existed. However, if it was true, could it be that Mu Lingshan had some relationship with the devouring ancestral symbol within his body? Lindong shook his head, tossing aside the confusing thoughts within his mind, as powerful Yuan power wrapped around his body. With a splash, he directly entered the sea. After which, he became like a swimming fish that swiftly headed towards the spot where the wild and violent energy fluctuation originated. Hundreds of blood sharks gathered in this empty sea region, forming many encirclements. Strong-looking members of the Blood Demon Shark clan stood above each and every one of these blood sharks. At this moment, all of their eyes contained a fiendish aura as they locked onto the middle of the encirclement. A green-clothed little girl with 2 pigtails stood on the water. Her large and intelligent jet-black eyes contained some fury as she stared at the crowd surrounding her. Ha ha, little princess of the immortal sage whale clan, you should just obediently leave with me. You should be aware that people like us do not understand the meaning of mercy. A somewhat strong-looking blood shark was at the most inner encirclement. On it was the ferocious man known as Commander Shia, who had reached the advanced profound life stage. He was currently all smiles as he looked at the surrounded Mu Lingshan and laughed. You bastard sharks! How dare you attack me if you know my identity? Mu Lingshan was extremely furious. However, these words clearly did not offer much of a deterrence when uttered from her mouth. Our mission is extremely secretive, and no one knows about it. Moreover, you have snuck out secretly. This chaotic demon sea is so chaotic. It is only normal for you to meet with an unfortunate accident. No one will suspect our Blood Demon Shark clan. Commander Shia's mouth parted into a smile. His teeth was exceptionally sharp, and flickered with a sinisterly icy light under the sunlight. You people wish to capture me with just this? Mu Lingshan's eyes rotated, as they continued to sweep across this encirclement. Ha ha, I am aware that you are a genius that is seen once in 1,000 years within the immortal sage whale clan, and you have already mastered the undying overflowing heaven method at such a young age. This is extremely rare even amongst the immortal sage whale clan. However, you are after all still too young. Moreover, our elder has personally placed a seal on you. How much of a resistance can you put up now? Commander Shia laughed indifferently. Humph, why don't you give it a try? Mu Lingshan suddenly rushed forward. Blue light flashed on her small hand. Subsequently, she slammed it onto the surface of the sea, whale ground pulsing wave. Bang! Blue light spread from under Mu Lingshan's hands at lightning-like speed. It quickly caused the sea to become wild and violent. 1,000 feet tall wave directly rose around Mu Lingshan's body. Blue light surged within this wave as it unleashed a shocking fluctuation. Boom! The sea wave that contained a unique fluctuation unfurled. Finally, it ferociously charged towards the encirclement. Some Blood Demon Shark Clan experts were caught off guard and were sent flying with their sharks. Do not allow her to escape. Otherwise, all of you will bear the consequences. An evil glint flashed in Commander Shia's dark red eyes. He threw a punch forward, as an extremely wild and violent force split the huge wave that was charging towards him. His eyes swept across the place, before he cried out sternly. Understood. Those strong individuals from the Blood Demon Shark Clan hurriedly replied in unison after hearing Commander Shia's cry. Their faces were fiendish. They rode their blood sharks, and charged into the water. After which, the sharp tridents in their hands turned into many rays of light that attacked the delicate little body. 1,000 whale palm. Mu Lingshan stood on the wave, as her body rose upwards. That delicate body of hers nimbly rotated in the air. She threw a palm forward, and a monstrous blue light surged. This light directly turned into a huge whale that was a couple of 1,000 feet large. The dozen Blood Demon Shark Clan experts, who were charging towards her, had both their bodies and sharks overturned. Mu Lingshan swiftly rushed forward after creating an opening with her palm strike. However, she was about to flee, when that well-built body of Commander Shia appeared in front of her. An unusually sharp and sinisterly cold force was spat out from his throat. This attack was clearly extremely vicious. Get lost! Impatience and fury was revealed in Mu Lingshan's large jet-black eyes, as she faced the many obstacles blocking her way. Blue light flashed on her hands in the next instant, and a black door plate that seemed to cover her entire body appeared in her hand. This door plate was extremely thick and heavy, and was black as ink. There were also many extremely cryptic and profound drawings on its surface. A strange fluctuation also began to spread the moment this door plate appeared, causing even space itself to ripple. Life-death coffin. Cover? Commander Shia's pupils suddenly shrunk after seeing this door plate-like thing in Mu Lingshan's hands. He involuntarily cried out, "You actually stole the divine object of the immortal sage whale clan. It's none of your business." However, Mu Lingshan merely retorted rudely in response to his cry of alarm, as the black door plate in her hand swung towards Commander Shia. Black vapor began to surge out from in front of the door plate the moment it was swung. That black vapor possessed the death chi fluctuation that only a profound death stage expert had. However, Mu Lingshan's body suddenly stiffened as this black vapor was about to be unleashed, as a bloody light was emitted from her chest. This blood light vaguely turned into a glowing blood shark. The blue light around Mu Lingshan's body had become unstable under the assault from this blood light, and even her body ended up staggering a little. Although you possess the life-death coffin cover, a seal has been placed on your body. With your current strength, you are only going to suffer if you use it. A sinister expression immediately surfaced on Commander Shia's face after seeing this. After which, he suddenly threw a palm forward. A ferocious wind landed on Mu Lingshan's body with lightning speed, as the latter's expression changed drastically. Mu Lingshan's body flew backwards as the force exploded onto her body. A moan was emitted from her mouth as her small face turned a little pale. "You stinking sharks should be exterminated." Mu Lingshan clenched her teeth and cursed furiously. It was likely that she had suffered quite greatly at the hands of these blood demon sharks over this period of time. "Ha ha, we have now managed to obtain an unexpected reward. Although you only possess the life-death coffin cover, it is still an extremely powerful Pu Yuan treasure. However, this thing will belong to my blood demon shark clan in the future." Commander Shia laughed heartily towards the sky. His body suddenly rushed forward, as bloodlight rose from the trident in his hand. After which, it tore through the air and ruthlessly pierced towards Mu Lingshan, whose aura was unstable. Mu Lingshan looked at the bloodlight that was rapidly magnifying in her eyes. Her small face became increasingly pale. Bang! Mu Lingshan was about to forcibly activate the life-death coffin cover in her hand, when the surface of the sea below suddenly exploded. Water pillars shot into the sky as a scarlet red light hurried out and turned into a giant cauldron. The mouth of the cauldron opened and swallowed Mu Lingshan. The bloodlight trident struck as the giant scarlet red cauldron swallowed Mu Lingshan. Immediately, a metallic sound emerged. Wild and violent fluctuations spread, stirring a huge monstrous wave in the process. Who? This sudden and unexpected turn of events caused Commander Shia's face to change as he cried out sternly. No one responded to this cry of his. The giant scarlet red cauldron swallowed Mu Lingshan, before using resulting collision force to turn into a flash of scarlet red light that shot towards the far-off horizon. Chase them! Commander Shia's eyes immediately became malicious. An explosive cry sounded, and his body took the lead to rush forward. Hundreds of blood sharks began to crazily give chase behind him. The calmness of the sea had been completely destroyed at this moment. A hurried rushing wind noise suddenly sounded over the calm surface of the sea. A scarlet red light flew rapidly approached from far away, before it once again took off at an astonishing shocking speed. Due to its great speed, clear traces of passage had appeared on the surface of the sea below. Bang bang! Soon after this scarlet red light appeared, an earth-shaking rumbling sound was emitted from behind. Hundreds of bloody lights appeared. Numerous savage blood sharks broke out of the water and frantically chased the scarlet red light in front of them. This fleeing and chasing also caused the usually calm sea surface to become extremely lively. Cut them off and stop them. Commander Shia's eyes were maliciously cold as he watched the scarlet red light frantically galloping away. His eyes were filled with fury, as a low roar, which was filled with viciousness, was emitted from his mouth. This mission of theirs was very important. If Mu Lingshan managed to escape and return to the immortal sage whale clan, it would definitely stir a monstrous wave. At that time, in the face of the fury of the immortal sage whale clan, even their blood demon shark clan would have a huge headache. Hence, they must not allow her to escape no matter what. The coldness in Commander Shia's eyes became even more intense as he thought of this. He stood on the blood shark, as blood light surged out from within body. Immediately, the eyes of the blood shark turned red. Its speed soared as it turned into a blood arrow that rapidly caught up to the scarlet red light in front. Spread out and get into formation, trap them. Commander Shia once again cried out sternly while giving chase. Those well-trained blood demon shark clan members also scattered in an orderly fashion. They formed a semicircle shape that chased the scarlet red light glow in front of them. The change in the formation behind also attracted the attention of the scarlet red light. The large cauldron within it emitted a buzzing sound. In the next instant, the body of the cauldron suddenly paused and descended. After which, it charged into the sea. Fool, you are actually trying to compete with us, the Blood Demon Shark clan, in terms of speed underwater. Commander Shia's eyes turned cold as he saw this. The blood shark under his feet dived underwater. Their speed suddenly soared after entering the sea. Hundreds of water trials appeared on the surface of the sea, as they chased that scarlet red cauldron at an even more shocking speed. Truly troublesome. The scarlet red light cauldron quickly rushed through the sea. He involuntarily cursed quietly upon sensing the group closely chasing behind him. The glow of the large cauldron brightened, as its speed rapidly soared. Lindong, There are some reefs at the bottom of the sea to our front. It has a complicated terrain. We should be able to hide there. Yang's voice suddenly sounded within Lindong's mind as the latter controlled the burning sky cauldron. The latter braced himself upon hearing this. It was too difficult to escape from these blood demon sharks. They would catch up sooner or later at this rate. The giant cauldron swiftly rushed past. This continued for around 10 minutes or so, before rows of reefs that were like undersea mountains appeared at the bottom of the sea to their front. A thought passed through Lindong's mind, and the large cauldron took a couple of continuously turns. Finally, it swiftly shrunk at a blind spot. It turned into the size of a palm, and charged into a huge reef with a plop sound. The school of blood sharks once again whistled past from behind after the burning sky cauldron shrunk and tunneled into a reef. Finally, they swiftly faded into the distance. However, this did not last for long, before a group of blood sharks turned back. The one leading them was Commander Shia. From their extremely ugly expressions, it was obvious that they had realized that they had lost their target. Search this reef area. They are definitely hiding here. Commander Shia roared furiously, as those experts from the Blood Demon Shark clan hurriedly acknowledged the order. After which, they spread apart and began to carefully search the complicated terrain of this sea floor. The glow of the scarlet red palm-sized cauldron deep within a reef also started to dim while the search progressed. In the end, it had basically turned into a scarlet red rock. No fluctuation was emitted from it. Hopefully, we will not be discovered. After all the fluctuations from the burning sky cauldron had faded, Lindong patted his hands and muttered to himself within the realm of the cauldron. There was a large number of people from the Blood Demon Shark clan. Not only was there an advanced profound life stage expert, but there were 10 people who had reached the initial profound life stage. Even Lindong would have some difficulty dealing with such a lineup. Big brother, thank you for rescuing me. The laughing voice of a little girl was suddenly transmitted from behind Lindong. He turned his head only to see Mu Lingshan sitting down on that enormous black doorplate of hers. This scene looked rather unusual. Lindong's gaze paused on the black doorplate that Mu Lingshan sat on, as his eyes slightly focused. It was possible for him to vaguely detect a relatively frightening fluctuation from it. It was obvious that this doorplate-like thing was an extremely powerful pure yuan treasure. It is likely the coffin cover of the life-death coffin, Yang suddenly spoke. Life-death coffin? Coffin cover. Lindong was slightly startled, he had never heard of them before. It is an extremely powerful treasure that has been passed down from ancient times. Back then, it was ranked highly even amongst those special treasures. However, she only has the life-death coffin cover in her hands. Even so, it is still be possible to use death chi attacks. This is equivalent to the techniques of a profound death stage expert. Yang explained. What a powerful treasure. Lindong was startled. He did not expect that just the cover of a coffin was already so powerful. No wonder it was highly ranked even during ancient times. However, the moment he thought of how such a delicate and small little girl was swinging such a large coffin cover to smack others, he began to feel that it would be an exceptionally comical and interesting scene. Lindong quietly sighed in his heart. After which, his eyes looked towards Mu Lingshan, as he smiled and asked, "You all right?" "Yes." Mu Lingshan grinned and nodded. At this moment, her face had once again recovered its rosiness, and the earlier paleness had completely disappeared. This caused Lindong to be a little surprised. The recovery ability of this little girl was actually even more frightening than his own, despite him having practiced the Green Heaven materialized dragon skill. She had just suffered a full force attack from an advanced profound life stage expert after all. Those hateful stinking sharks. If it was not for their elder's seal, all of them can forget about escaping today. Mu Lingshan proclaimed furiously. The corners of Lindong's eyes twitched. He could sense an extremely obscure and powerful fluctuation within Mu Lingshan's body. However, this fluctuation seemed to be suppressed by something. Hence, Lindong somewhat believed her. This caused him to sweat a little. He had met countless people in this world, and had originally believed that he was already quite strong. However, he seemed to be nothing when compared to this Mu Lingshan in front of him. Are you from the immortal sage whale clan? Lindong glanced at Mu Lingshan before asking. Mu Lingshan nodded. You should return once those fellows leave. Your elders should be able to easily remove the seal on your body. Moreover, it is quite dangerous for you to be alone outside. Lindong chuckled. It is not easy for me to escape. I am not going back. Mu Lingshan twisted her head. After which, she turned back and looked at Lindong with anxious eyes. Brother Lindong, why don't I travel with you? You can be assured that I will not be a burden. Lindong smiled and asked, aren't you afraid that I will sell you? Mu Lingshan tilted her head and thought for a moment, before she replied, although I don't know the reason, I have the feeling that you will not do anything to me. Lindong frowned slightly. Mu Lingshan's expression was relatively earnest. However, this unknown trust of hers caused him to feel a little uncertain. This was because he clearly understood that this trust definitely originated from something. Perhaps, the source was from something that he possessed. Let's look at the situation first. Lindong shook his head. However, he did not make any promises. Next, he continued, we should remain here for the next few days. Those people seem to be unwilling to give up, and they will likely not leave so easily for the time being. In that case, I will sleep first. Mu Lingshan nodded, and joyously smiled at Lindong. Subsequently, she lay on the coffin cover and fell asleep in front of Lindong's speechless eyes. The same light surged out from her body as she slept. It seemed that the undying overflowing heaven method would automatically activate when she slept. Moreover, it would heal all the injuries within her body at a shocking speed. Lindong shook his head. He sat down in the air and shut his eyes. However, his mind was paying attention to the search outside the reef. He was aware that if their trail was discovered, it was likely that they would have to engage in a rather huge and intense battle today. The burning sky cauldron's ability to conceal itself clearly exceeded Lindong's expectations. Additionally, the terrain in this part of the sea was truly rather complicated. Hence, even though those members of the Blood Demon Shark clan had repeatedly searched the area for 5 days, they were still unable to find where the burning sky cauldron was hidden. The experts from the Blood Demon Shark clan searched for 5 days to no avail. In the end, they had no choice but to angrily give up. After all, it was impossible for them to continue conducting such a large-scale search in this place. Hence, the Blood Demon Shark clan members began to withdraw after 5 days. However, Lindong did not emerge immediately, but instead continued to hide for 2 more days. It was also fortunate that he was extremely cautious. This was because he discovered some Blood Demon Shark tribe experts sneaking around during these 2 days. It seemed that the other party had yet to completely give up. However, their search had finally come to a complete stop after 7 days. Lindong could sense that all presences from the Blood Demon Shark clan within a 1,000-mile radius had completely vanished. A section of an incredibly large reef suddenly collapsed in the quiet bottom of the sea. After which, a scarlet-red light very carefully shot out from it. There was a small scarlet-red palm-sized cauldron within the light. At this moment, the cauldron flickered as it rapidly expanded. The mouth of the cauldron was tilted open, and 2 figures rushed out from within it. It seems to be safe, Mu Lingshan's large jet-black eyes looked around her as she remarked. Yeah. Lindong nodded. Yuan power rose around him, isolating him from the water. He looked at the little girl with 2 pigtails, and smilingly said, since it is safe, it is time for me to leave. Brother Lindong, please let me follow you. The seal that old fellow placed on me will not last for long. I will be very strong once I recover my strength. Mu Lingshan hurriedly said after she heard that Lindong was about to leave. Lindong frowned slightly upon hearing this, and hesitated for a while. He did not doubt Mu Lingshan's strength. However, it would become somewhat troublesome if he was to be discovered by the Blood Demon Sharks while bringing this little girl with him. Bring her along. Befriending the Immortal Sage Whale clan is more worthwhile than offending the Blood Demon Shark clan. Moreover, once the seal placed on this little girl is dispelled, even a perfect profound life stage expert will not be able to stop her. She will be quite a good helper in your quest to find the second ancestral symbol. Yang commented at this point. Lindong slightly inclined his head. He trusted Yang's words. Since the latter had put it this way, he would bring the girl along. Lindong turned towards Mu Lingshan as he reached this conclusion, and nodded his head. However, before this little girl could jump for joy, he added, "However, you must listen to me along the way, and cannot take action by yourself. Otherwise, I can only abandon you." Mu Lingshan's small face was filled with excitement. Her head nodded continuously like a little chick pecking at grains. This caused Lindong to smile involuntarily. He extended his hand and pulled the two cute pigtails on the little girl's head as he spoke, "Let's go." Without further ado, Lindong's body moved and broke out from the surface of the sea. After orientating himself, he transformed into a ray of light that rushed towards the southwest direction. This time, however, there was an additional blue light tail behind him. "Brother Lindong, where are we heading to?" "Sky Merchant region." "Oh, I have heard of that place. There seems to be many interesting things there. I wonder if there will be the Skynet Divine Bed that I like most." "Skynet Divine Bed? What is that?" "It is rumored to be an extremely comfortable pure yuan treasure. If I obtain it, I will be able to sleep anytime I wish to. This lousy wood makes it so uncomfortable to sleep. If I had known it would be like this, I would not have stolen it." Lindong's journey was much less boring with the little girl Mu Lingshan at his side. Some of the latter's childish and naive words would occasionally cause Lindong to involuntarily burst out in laughter. Around half a day passed while the two of them laughed and chatted on their journey. At this moment, Yang's voice suddenly sounded within Lindong's mind, "Lindong, be careful. Some fluctuations belonging to the Blood Demon Shark clan has once again appeared to your front." "What? They have still not left?" Lindong's expression changed slightly upon hearing those words. His forward-moving figure immediately halted, as his brows knitted tightly together. It seemed that these people had yet to give up. "Looks like they have enlarged the search area and their men have become rather scattered. You should first let this girl hide herself. They have already discovered you," Yang said. "Brother Lindong, what's the matter?" Mu Lingshan appeared beside Lindong and asked in an uncertain voice. "You should enter the burning sky cauldron first. We have met those fellows again," Lindong urged. He beckoned with his hand and the burning sky cauldron swiftly appeared. Mu Lingshan was a little unwilling after hearing this. However, it was likely that she ended up recalling that she had agreed to listen to Lindong. Immediately, a small body turned into a ray of light that hurried into the burning sky cauldron. Lindong waved his sleeve, and the burning sky cauldron rapidly shrunk, before entering his sleeve. Both of his eyes narrowed slightly, as he looked at the distant sea in front of him. A splashing sound was faintly transmitted over. At the same time, there were also several ferocious presences. "They have come as expected." Lindong's eyes were slightly cold as he felt these presences. These people really seemed to be constantly lingering around. While Lindong was standing in the air, the splashing became increasingly clear. Soon after, a dozen blood lights appeared in Lindong's sights. Upon careful observation, they were the experts from the Blood Demon Shark clan, whom he had met before. Moreover, the leading them was that expert from the Blood Demon Shark clan called Commander Shia. "It's you?" Over a dozen blood sharks swiftly approached, and very quickly appeared in front of Lindong. The ruthless eyes of Commander Shia swept over Lindong's body. He was slightly startled as he frowned and said, "Is something the matter?" Lindong looked at them and spoke in a calm voice. "Our Blood Demon Shark clan is on a mission to search for a target in this area. You should come down and allow us to search you." Commander Shia's eyes slowly swept over Lindong's body. There was a trace of fatigue in his eyes. It was likely that this search had exhausted too much of his energy. Moreover, he had identified Lindong as an initial profound life stage expert at a glance. Hence, his tone was not polite. "I'm sorry. I am also in a hurry and do not have time to engage in such senseless acts with you." Lindong frowned and replied. What did you say? Although Lindong's words were polite, Commander Shia's expression gradually darkened. It was likely that having been used to being domineering, he did not expect that Lindong, who only had the strength of the initial profound life stage, would actually dare reject him. Brat, this commander's mood is now extremely terrible. Hence, you should not try to act tough in front of me. Otherwise, you will regret it. Lindong's lips pursed. He lowered his head and stared at the malicious expression of Commander Shia. His own face, which had a hint of gentleness, was now slowly becoming completely expressionless. I was polite to you on the account of you being a part of the Blood Demon Shark clan. If you continue to push it, I can only tell you that with your ability, it is still inadequate for you to do as you please in this chaotic demon sea. Although Lindong did not really wish to fight, his character was not such that he would allow anyone to bully him. His heart felt quite displeased in the face of the aggressiveness of Commander Shia. Truly a fool that does not know his limits. Commander Shia's expression became completely ugly. He stared at Lindong, as a rich murderous intent surged within his eyes. His feet immediately pushed off the back of the blood shark, and his body turned into a ray of bloody light which directly rushed towards Lindong. Coincidentally, my mood is now extremely terrible. I shall vent my anger on you, you fool. Lindong looked at Commander Shia, who was charging towards him while being accompanied by a fiendish aura, as a cold light surged in his pitch-black eyes. Immediately, green light swept apart. For green dragon light tattoos directly rose from within his body. Green dragon heavenly seat seal. A low and deep cry sounded. At the same time, an enormous green dragon palm whistled out. Finally, it blasted apart the air, and collided head-on against the incoming Commander Shia. Bang! Wild and violent energy fluctuation swept across the sky like a hurricane, while the surface of the sea below was forcefully split apart, forming a 1,000-feet-long scar. However, it was very quickly filled by seawater again. Bang! Wild and violent wind unfurled in the sky, while Commander Shia's charging body immediately froze. With a muffled noise, he was catapulted backwards under the stunned eyes of the other strong individuals from the Blood Demon Shark clan, and violently shot into the sea with splash. Splash! The surface of the sea quickly split apart once again, as Commander Shia broke out from the water in a somewhat miserable manner. His eyes were dark and cold as he stared at Lindong. However, there was an additional trace of solemnness under this dark coldness. It was likely that the might from Lindong's palm earlier allowed him to understand that the person before him seemed to possess the qualifications to utter those words that he had previously said. The surrounding Blood Demon Shark clan experts also gradually gathered over. Their eyes were filled with wariness as they stared at Lindong. The current atmosphere had undoubtedly become tense and hostile. This video will end here.